Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenore and I'm here to read your tea leaves. This is a reading for Aquarius, if that is your solar, lunar, ascendant, or rising. This is a video for you. If you happen to be, if you happen not to have any of those placements, it still might be a video for you. It's not only for Aquarius, but I am reading with the intent for an Aquarius message. But, you know, sometimes it just resonates with anyone. And that's okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started here. I will turn the bowl/cup 3 times, and that is counterclockwise. Tap on it 3 times, lift, and see what the tea leaves have for us. Okay. A little excess water out of there. All right, let's take a look at these formations. I really like using these bowls. They're little kind of saucer bowls instead of the cups. Even though the really wide mouth cups are nice, it's so much easier to stay in focus. In some of my older videos, I would have trouble kind of getting it to stay in focus for me. Okay. So this first formation I'm going to kind of look at here is this one right here. And really from all angles, it is reading as a shrimp, which, you know, is a saltwater crustacean. Is it a crustacean? I think so, right? I said that with such confidence. And now after I think about it, I think that's right. It must be right. If I think it's right, it must be right, right? Okay, so anyways, it is a shrimp. And it's in this middle part of the bowl. So this is going to be probably the person that I'm reading for. It could be an indication of the major event that I'm reading. But I think that it's probably kind of, it seems like it's probably going to be more along the lines of the subject here. So, what does a shrimp mean? Okay, a shrimp, and I think kind of the derogatory thinking is that somebody that is weak or, you know, a little nerdy maybe or something. But let's throw that out. That energy is, I'm not here for that. So, a shrimp is not unlike, I would say, it wouldn't be unlike a crab, okay? So, which is interesting because if we're going to go up here and look, I'm reading this as a crab. So, it's interesting that there is a correlation there of the two oceanic creatures. So, a shrimp is very, well, let's say it is a sign of good fortune. It's a sign of longevity, a long life. Okay, so oftentimes when this comes up in any kind of readings, it is a wonderful sign of just, you know, health, abundance, and as I said, a long life. And a good long life, not just, you know, an agonizing, long and dwindling kind of you know, spiraling out of control kind of life. But, you know, even deeper than that, I think a lot of these kind of shielded, you know, have the what is it, exoskeleton kind of bodies, the creatures of the sea. I tend to think that they are some of the most, they're the most self-protected. So they're so about self-preservation, right? They are people that are usually fairly inward. They guard their emotions. They're slow to share those emotions. They definitely experience emotions, but sometimes it seems like they probably don't. Sometimes it's like you wonder, like, are they, even involved in the situations that are happening? Are they totally like dissociating or just totally tuned out of, what's going on? But they're not. They're people that really take everything in and kind of, run through it with a more logical mind, but also very, very emotional in their interior life. Okay. But not out of control. Not in that sense. Although, it's like the crab, which would be related to maybe like Cancer, and a water sign, a very overly emotional, sensitive person, very moody, but tempered, very tempered, not a lot of outbursts, unless really cornered. So the shrimp is kind of within the same realm. I think that a shrimp, though, is somebody that is also, there's a little more because of the beauty of a shrimp, right? And all of the crustaceans are kind of very beautiful, really. But the beauty of a shrimp with the long, the long appendages and with, I don't know what they are, whiskers, antennae, I don't know. But they're really beautiful and delicate. And so I think there's almost kind of a very, I think of like a dandy, kind of a little bit of that, just kind of ostentatious, outward persona. Okay. So maybe a little full of yourself socially, outwardly, but also very in control of your emotions, although you appear to be in control of your emotions or almost not having emotions, but internally, inside, you are shifting waters. Definitely very emotional, moody type of person. Okay. And probably prone to periods of solitude, maybe even somewhat of a recluse. Okay. So that is going to be kind of who I'm reading for. And now we're going to kind of just turn this and look a little more. Okay, so I did mention this crab up here, but my cat is just right on this table here, flipping his tail around on me. Okay, I want to mention this part right here first. I want to go over this before we go over that crab. Okay, so, and it's interesting because a lot of these little figures look like they're kind of looking towards the sky, and it's very interesting in this bowl here. Okay, so this one I'm going to say is like a horse, kind of. Some kind of horse, donkey, something like that. But the particulars of it aren't, really important. I think it's definitely a larger animal. And let's see. There we go. That's back in focus. Larger animal, but it's looking up, and that's what's important. It's kind of like gazing into the sky, into this, it looks like a woman with flowing hair kind of swimming through the sky. Okay, so what does that mean? And also let me talk about this placement here. Now, this is up on the rim. okay? And it's kind of in the middle part of the edge of the bowl and into the rim here. So the rim is a place that I look at spiritual, metaphysical, the daemon, the higher thinking, guardian angel kind of messages, the divine, just, you know, that place above everything else. Okay, so this figure here has its feet planted right into the earth. So this is like definitely the more earthbound part of the situation, and that would be this large animal. If that is a horse or like a donkey or some kind of pack animal, it's something that it's a creature animal that is strong, very strong, has a lot of endurance, okay? It is something that is not afraid of hard work. It spends a lot of time on its feet, moving, very, you know, in decent physical shape, I think, and definitely, I think that is a thought. That's definitely a priority to you. There's this element of a need to perform an ability. Okay, that's something maybe that. Oh, and I'm out of focus again. Something that maybe is a source of pride. Okay, and now in this posture, okay, it's facing towards the past because it's facing to the left, but I don't really think that matters because it's looking up. So it is facing towards the left, which that's what I think of a past event or something that is flowing from the past into the now. But I think this one is looking upwards and it's watching this kind of beautiful goddessy, long flowing hair kind of swim through the sky of the psyche. Okay, so I feel like this is almost like a daydreamy kind of situation. I think that there's like an element of just really your attention has been taken from whatever's been going on in your day-to-day mundane life, and you're really daydreaming about, I don't know, is it a significant other? Just, you know, just a sense of togetherness, partnership. It doesn't have to be romantic necessarily, but I think that probably this is kind of like seeking some kind of security, okay? And maybe that is a feminine security, or maybe that is just the sense of feeling coupled with somebody. And again, that doesn't mean romantic necessarily. This could be a friend. This could be my freaking cat. It could be your cat. It could be, you know, a pet, or just this. There seems to be this sense of not wanting to feel so alone. Okay, and you might not be alone at all, but you know, it's not uncommon to feel alone even when you're surrounded by people, or to feel lonely when you're surrounded by people. I think that this is probably within your normal range of just being. I think that you are maybe a person that really does feel very, you almost live in your existential dread almost constantly. And I think that how you escape that for moments is probably things like, you know, working hard, working out, focusing on things like food, dieting, wellness, you know, self-improvement. I think that there are times though that you really just, even though you're staying on course with those things, you get lost in these kind of fantasies, okay? And right next to this image right here of, you know, of the woman and this horse, right over here, I'm seeing it looks like a bird in flight, and then next to it, it looks like a little lizard sitting on a stick here, and and they seem to be the bird is flying this way, but the lizard is looking upon this horse. Okay, so when I see a lizard, this is, I almost always relate this to the salamander, and I'm aware that the lizard and a salamander aren't technically the same thing, but within, alchemy and say Jungian symbolism, they're pretty synonymous, not always, but this is a creature that is very tied into the fire element, and I happen to have pulled the Tatwa card today of the fire. Okay, so this makes sense to me. This is the elemental that keeps the machinery flowing with the life of fire, the fire of life. Okay, and keeps the energies flowing through all things. And I think that, because we're in this position of looking upon this daydreaming horse who is looking at a goddess figure, I think that this is, I think you've come into a place of dreaminess. I think that maybe you are almost kind of in a, I think that there's in your physical world, there is there's not a lot of quantifiable progression going on right now. And I think that usually you live in a life where you really are looking at numbers and, keeping goals and, kind of measuring where you're at with things constantly. I think that right now you're not really doing that, and this kind of this fiery salamander lizard, it's kind of in a restful state because it's sitting on this stick here, right? And it's kind of gazing upon this goddess. Okay, so I think that it's it's in a state of rest, both. Okay, and even though those fires never at rest, really and truly, I think that this is something that almost is kind of an anxiety for you. I think that you almost have some kind of you carry almost guilt and shame with you when you're not doing things. I think it's hard for you to just slow down at any time, and I think that when you haven't been working on any projects or taking on new parts that new goals or new challenges, you get into these like real shame spirals. Okay, and I think that further isolates you and sends you into this like loop of feeling like you're alone, not good enough, that kind of thing. And then that you really go into these kind of fantasy worlds, okay, where you're really lamenting that you're not connecting with people, and it just becomes this whole cycle over and over and over again. I think, though, that this bird in flight that's kind of leaving the situation, I think that that's really a promising symbol, in my opinion, because it kind of is that like a little indicator that there is an exit, there is a release. And a bird in flight often is, it's a transitory, it is on to the next part, the next event, the next part of your life. And it's definitely not a fixed state. Okay, so this kind of loop that you've been living in, you can get out of it. Okay, And we're going to look at some of how, and okay, so let's look at this crab over here. And let's kind of bring that up. See if I can, it's just right at that weird angle where it's like hard to get it to focus all the way. Come on. Trying to talk her into getting focused here. Okay, so the crab, right? Not unlike the shrimp that we talked about. This is a very guarded, very selective about who and when they share their emotions. I think that, you know, this to me, this double kind of sea, it just won't stay focused. This kind of double shrimp and crab together just really indicates to me that you really you really feel like somebody who just almost kind of alienates yourself in a way. I think that you just go so far into yourself and feel so othered, because, and a lot of it is just because I feel like you just try to get in with maybe with the wrong kinds of people, or, I think that you live in like this fantasy of what people are like and what you would like to have as like people around you, and they maybe let you down pretty big, and I think that you go right back into yourself. And I think that it almost seems like it's like just kind of they're just, your expectations of maybe connecting with people are a little more based in your dream life or your fantasy life, or the ideal situation. But it's hard to find that and manifest that in base reality for any of us. So it is easy to be let down when people don't live up to like what your thinking was. And I think that it's in your nature not to get necessarily angry about it, but I think you get hurt easily. You're very sensitive and you retreat. It really throws you off, and you then don't really seem to try to continue friendships, or put in a lot of effort to maintain those relationships where you felt like maybe you were misled, I guess. And I think what I'm trying to say is that it's almost, you feel misled, but it's not necessarily that somebody was trying to mislead you. But I think that you live so much in fantasy sometimes that you feel misled, and it's just a matter of perception. Okay. And I think that really that's kind of what I'm starting to see here a little more clearly, is that I think that just this is mostly about getting to a place where, working on getting to a place where, you need to give people a little more space to be flawed individuals and not live up to expectations that you might have for people, because people are going to let you down. They just do. We all let people down, and we are all let down by people. And I think that it really just, the big thing about becoming a more holistic, cultivated person is about how you react to how other people treat you, your interactions with people, and really just the stripped down natures of people, when all the pretense and stuff is like just kind of pushed aside, and you really kind of see like, it might not be as exciting as you imagined, or they might not be as charming, or interesting or have as much or whatever it is, and I think I think that this reading, to me, the impression that I'm getting from it is just, this is a message to you about just learning to kind of temper your expectations of other people, because you kind of hurt your own feelings, I think. I think that this is not just an occurrence that's happening right now. I think this is something that, has happened more than once and will continue to happen. But it's something that I think that is a worthy effort to kind of learn to, just let people be people and let yourself feel your feelings. But try to remember, it's not about you most of the time. People very rarely do anything with the thought of other people besides themselves. I mean, almost always things are about themselves. The things that they say, the things that they hate, the things that they rail against, whatever. It's all projection, almost always. So, though it's hard, we have to learn to navigate all of that stuff that we come face to face with constantly every day, especially with social media and, being connected with hearing everybody's thoughts all the time, 24 hours a day. And learning to not take that into yourself and not taking it personally. Okay. And, just kind of learning to realize that people are just people. They're just like you, just like, let's see. There's not a lot on this plate here. And I think, let's see. And I think, I'm sorry there's not like a super clear message, but I just think that right now you've been hurting. And I think that like whatever thing has happened to like draw you into yourself, I think you're really going through a period right now of being in your feelings a lot. And I think that you're resorting to some, things to self-soothe, these more dreamy worlds, or maybe it's like, reading a lot, playing video games, watching TV, just doing things that are more solo, whatever practices that, because you're just not you don't want to deal with people right now. And I think, I think that this is like a thing that you go through. And I don't think that, I don't see that it's like super consequential right now, but I think in the long run, it will become more and more of a problem if you don't, start to deal with some of the things that really just set you off into these like very darker moods that you might have. And I think that, it's just, I think a lot of times it's just giving people a lot of grace. You know what I mean? Just realizing it does not have that much to do with you. And I guess that's how I get through a lot of stuff in my life, is just trying to remind myself, people just, I say things I don't mean. I do things that are probably not, not nice, not helpful, all the time. And people have given me a lot of grace in those departments. So I think that, I also need to do that with other people, or I'm just going to hurt my feelings all day long, every day, because, we get into these cycles of almost kind of looking for reasons to feel bad and, looking for reasons to be upset and, just not you know, not in a balanced state. Okay. And, so I think, you know, I don't know. I think that's the reading. And I'm, again, I'm sorry it's not a more precise kind of, you know, tied up event and resolution. But I think, you know, Aquarius, you are tough people sometimes, okay? I love Aquarius people and friends that I have that are within that sign. But you know, you guys tend to be kind of emotional people, and that's a wonderful thing. But you know, sometimes it makes it hard for yourself, I think. So yeah, I just that's pretty much the reading today. I really appreciate you coming by and watching the video. Come back in, you know, in a week or so and check out the next Aquarius video. Hopefully I'll have some really good news for you. And, you know, go ahead and check out some of the other videos with your other sign placements. So you, if you're like a solar Aquarius, you can go and look up your lunar and ascendant sign, or, you know, any of those other signs, you know, whatever. Just if you have an Aquarius in any of those placements, check out some other videos, please. Let me know what you think. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment. I love hearing from you guys and gals and other, and yeah, I think that's it. Look for me on Facebook, Ula Tea Leaf Readings, on Instagram, Ula of the Tea, and yeah, I'm just so honored. I love doing these readings. I've been having a lot of fun, and I feel like I'm meeting new people because of them. And I just, yeah, I really enjoy it. So I'm so honored to bring these messages to you, and enjoy doing that. Thank you again. I hope you have a most wonderful morning, day, night, whatever, whenever it is that you're watching this. Again, Ula Tea Leaf Readings, and I'm Lenore. Bye-bye.